Since Tommy Robinson was given an 18-month term for contempt of court, things have not been going well for him. We have been getting updates as we go along, and today we have some big news because a twist has come to light. We will talk about this in today's video and go over all of the most recent news from across the nation, but first, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join our rapidly expanding community. Just a brief note to let you know that we have brand new Stuck Farmer t-shirts in stock. You can get them right now at british.com or by clicking the link in the description. After being initially placed in Marsh, Tommy Robinson is currently being held at Woodhill Prison. The transfer was unexpected and occurred in spite of the judge's assurances that his circumstances would remain stable and consistent. Initially, there were talks about moving him to the main part of Marsh, which would have presented serious safety risks. However, he was moved to Woodhill, where he has spent the last few weeks in the punishment block H. Tommy has not been treated like a typical prisoner. Let's not forget that he is a civil offender, not a criminal. There is a significant difference between a civil offense and a criminal conviction, but the system has kept him in conditions similar to solitary confinement and denied him basic rights like the ability to exercise. However, there is some big news. Tommy was recently granted permission to exercise every weekday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. This might not seem like much, but for someone like Tommy who values routine and fitness, this little win gives him something constructive to think about throughout the day. In the meantime, it's not surprising that the political establishment has yet to address Tommy's predicament. The only person questioned about the issue was the new Tory leader KY Box, and her response was evasive. As we've previously covered, the legal and enforcement systems in our nation are rife with double standards, so it's evident that conventional political parties won't handle this issue. She didn't want to offend Tommy's fans, but she stopped short of supporting his cause. Tell me what you think about this in the comments section of other news. Keir Starmer has received a warning. As agitation over Labour's inheritance tax reforms intensifies, farmers could easily ensure that supermarket shelves remain empty. Farmer Joe Hilditch joined Dor Nissim on the news to attack Rachel Reeves's budget, saying the Chancellor miscalculated the figures while creating plans. Dawn questioned how far farmers would be willing to go to pressure the government. Hilditch said they could simply make sure the food supply is severely affected, but she ruled out any simple stop oil-like techniques. I don't think that's the case in general, but we can easily empty the shelves for a few days and we can cause problems by refusing to receive sewage sludge from all of the water companies. She said, I'm not personally militant. The rally on Tuesday is taking food for food banks, and we're trying to get people to think about their food and where it comes from and where it will continue to come from. There's no doubt that prices will go up if this crusade continues. The farming union chief told Sky News that the new taxes for farms worth more than £1 million have left farmers feeling betrayed, but he said that withholding food from the table is not an few tactic, and we don't support emptying supermarket shelves. However, I completely understand the strength of feeling among farmers, who feel helpless today, and they're trying to figure out what this means to them. Farmers have contested the figures, citing data from the Department of Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs that indicate 66% of farm businesses are worth more than the £1 million threshold at which inheritance tax will now be due. Treasury data indicates that approximately 3/4 of farmers will pay nothing in inheritance tax as a result of the contentious changes announced in the budget last month. Starmer has consistently argued in favor of Chang's inheritance tax for farms, stating that the majority will not be impacted and that the government only needs to keep outlining how it will operate. During a Friday visit to North Wales, the Prime Minister stated, I understand that some farmers are worried about the inheritance tax regulations that we implemented 2 weeks ago. In regards to that, I would say that once you add the 1 million for farmland and the 1 million that is exempt for your spouse, for the majority of couples who own a farm and wish to pass it on to their children, it is £3 million before anyone pays any inheritance taxes. For this reason, the great majority of farms will not be impacted at all by this, and it is crucial that we get that through, he added. We simply need to continue explaining how that works because I know it has caused some anxiety. Lastly, Prince Andrew has hired a cheap security firm at Royal Lodge after refusing to leave the 30-room mansion. It comes after King Charles told Andrew that his £1 million annual allowance, which he used to fund his security and lifestyle, would finally be axed. It is now reported that the Duke of York has negotiated a cheaper protection deal at his leased home in an attempt to stay at the property. A source said he has his security, but at a cheaper rate, and he is managing to finance it himself. They continued to tell The Sun he has dug his heels in and is refusing to move, so found a way to finance his security. How sustainable in the long term then? Who knows how long he can do it for. The Duke of York had relied on funding from his brother since 2022 and his late mother Queen Elizabeth II since 2019, when he stepped down from royal life after his infamous Newside interview. The father of two resisted King Charles's attempts to evict him from the Winds of property and has since found alternative funding, as confirmed by the Keeper of the Privy Purse Sir Michael Stevens. Author Andrew Looney, writing a book on the Duke of York, told The Sun Prince Andrew is likely to have many forms of income despite not being official working. The Royals' Frogmore Cottage, the former residence of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, was proposed as a suitable replacement for Andrew, who lost his right to taxpayer-funded security after being stripped of his royal duties. Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson continue to reside at Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate, escalating a feud between the Duke and his older brother. It is believed that King Charles sought to reduce royal expenses, particularly now that Andrew and Fergie are no longer employed by the organization. Royal biographer Robert Hardman disclosed that his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, proposed to remove the prince, and she would have done so if she had lived an additional year. A royal analyst suggested that Princess Beatrix, the eldest daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, is conflicted about her allegiance to her father and the king. Former BBC correspondent Jenny Bond stated that the Princess of York is well positioned to mediate between the brothers because she is a dependable member of the royal family and is still close to Andrew. She said that Beatrix must be torn between her allegiance to the crown and her father. If you haven't done so, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Goodbye.